Welcome to Universal Design Stories of Change. This podcast series aims to gather the experiences of persons with disabilities in Norway and internationally in order to gain a greater understanding of the benefits of universal design for persons with disabilities and everyone. We would like to thank the Norwegian Directorate for Children, Youth, and Families for their support, and the amazing team from Inclusive Creation for making it all happen. Enjoy this episode.
So I've been doing consultancy for around 10 years now in the DE&I space. And I used to get, one of the main questions that I'd get, particularly from parents, would be, what do I do if my child goes up to someone in a wheelchair in a supermarket and starts going, and I get this, I'm like under 4 foot tall. And, I get, why are you so small? How old are you? And then when I go, say my age, but you're tiny, and, all those kind of cutesy kind of kids questions.
Yeah.
And actually my response to that question has really developed and changed over time. I used to very much allow for ignorance. I wasn't condoning ignorance, but I allowed for ignorance. And what I used to say was, well, the worst thing you can do is drag your child away and berate them and feel embarrassed and make the interaction much more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because believe me, that happens as well.
Or just shaming them.
And shaming, yeah. And what you're doing, you're shaming the disabled person because you're making them think there is something shameful about their body or their being. And then you're also, projecting your own insecurities and biases onto your young, impressionable child.
Yeah.
So I used to, say, use common sense, navigate the conversation, ask the person if it's okay. And, although disabled people were not all the same people, we 9 times out of 10, we can see an authentic, when people are being authentic, particularly when it comes from a youngster. However, my take on that has really changed. And I think because of how social media, how particularly living in the UK, it is a privileged country. Not everyone is privileged, but most people do have access to a smartphone, internet, television, media. And I think, even if you've got like an Instagram account, there's so many amazing deaf, disabled and neurodivergent content creators who are there to educate you for free, but it just means that you have to do the homework. And so when I talk to parents, I say the same thing as well, but I actually challenge them and go, why are you not having these conversations at home?
And do you think there's a lot of responsibility there that parents need to take up that mantle?
Absolutely. And maybe some parents don't think that, but actually parenting goes beyond feeding and clothing a child. I know not everyone may agree with that, but I absolutely believe that, and I'm speaking as a former high school teacher as well, believe me, what some parents, not all, some parents wanted us to do for their children, it made you think, why have children in the first place?
Right.
But I mean, I'm not here to judge anyone's parenting skills, but I do believe that, if the information is out there, and also, educate yourself. Like, educating your child, you can by proxy educate yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to.
So it's like a win-win situation,
Of course. So what would you say, advice that you would have for students studying business, or maybe even like a business college? What do you think they should have in their curriculum that would help create more inclusive businesses?
God, well, I didn't go to business school, so I very much moved to London 12 years ago. Started off working with charities in the charity sector, was not getting anywhere, and then fell into acting, and then, as they say, the rest is history. So I don't really know with regards to specifics for business, kind of. I don't know whether you meant actual courses or...
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the specifics, but I think, for me, it's about really challenging something, like, speaking up. I think we can often fall into a trap of settling for what is available to us, and I actually, I want people to find their voices a little bit more and actually challenge kind of hierarchy, I guess. I think back to my own university kind of experience, and it was very binary. And I wish there was a little bit more differentiation, and I wish there was a little bit more ability to kind of navigate and change your own curriculum. So I think, don't be scared to push the parameters of what's already out there, because I learned so much from Gen Z.
Haven't we all?
And I actually think a lot of the Gen Z are really equipped to have those tools.
Yeah.
They already have those tools, more so than maybe my generation. So I think, keep that dialogue open and engage with as many diverse people as possible, because it's actually only through them that you'll be able to understand what an inclusive environment looks like. Sorry, I hope that was enough.
Very insightful, because you got into issues that are both core to kind of university curricula, but also the things you learn outside of that is so important.
Yeah, and and also understand that academia is amazing and it's wonderful, and I loved my time at university, but it's just a small section of your professional career.
Absolutely.
I've learned so much more in the past 12 years, not really having anyone to guide me, just through saying yes to opportunities.
Nice.
And then thinking, shit.
Now I have to figure out how to do this.
Now I've got to do it. Have you seen that episode of Friends where Joey lies on his, on his CV?
Yes.
Like, I can do horseback riding. And I wasn't that extreme, but there's definitely been, moments where and also, I work in the creative industry. Don't be scared. I would say, just ask. If people say no, then they say no. But if you don't ask, then you don't know.
You don't even know.
I reached out to Boy George, and then I co-produced and sang in a music video with him.
Oh my
And he came to my book launch, and that was just me. That was just me going, hey.
That's incredible.
No, but you know what I mean. You never know where opportunities will lead to.
Sure.
Some opportunities don't happen. But I also think, and I'm speaking specifically about young disabled people, I think Black Lives Matter really put DE&I on the map, which was important. And then, we had a lot of, kind of trans and LGBTQ awareness, and then disability came along. And I get the feeling, I still get the feeling sometimes, that some people, not all, but some people think that their protected characteristic is enough to get them opportunities. And I think that, there is still a lot of tokenism, and tokenism, if you know how to handle it right, can actually afford you opportunities.
Okay.
It gets your foot in the door, whether it's morally the right thing to do or not. We can talk about quotas, you can talk about tokenism, and whether it's right or wrong. Either way, if you're savvy, you can use it to your own advantage.
Absolutely.
But I come across a lot of disabled people contacting me, kind of upset that they're not getting opportunities after having opportunities. And actually, you need to working hard is called working hard for a reason. And you've got to also understand what your aspirations are, not what someone else's is, not what your favorite celebrity is or your favorite TikToker is. You've got to find your own path. And although doors can open for you in very different guises and ways and shapes and forms, seize those opportunities, but you also have to understand that you need to. What is your unique selling point? And a lot of people don't actually know what that is, and sometimes that's where we can go wrong.
Absolutely.
And they get rather upset going, but you have to give me an opportunity because I'm disabled or X, Y, and Z. And I don't think that's the right attitude to have on a professional level, but on a personal level, because it's not going to give you fulfillment.
No. It's a hollow victory.
It's a very hollow victory. So just be mindful of that if you are a young person trying to find your place in this world. I know it's hard, but think really, really clearly, what do you want out of a situation?
Sure.
What's your joy? What's your drive?
Where does your motivation lie?
Where does yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go back to something you said earlier in the interview about this fear of doing something wrong. And I think, with leaders, you're always going to mess up at some point.
Totally.
So what is your advice there for someone who's screwed up, they've said something inappropriate, they've done something wrong? What would you want to see in them, in their reaction?
I think, look, you can, when we talk about unconscious bias, when you call out unconscious bias, again, it's not necessarily a personal attack. We're all guilty of it, but do it once, fool me. I never know the expression.
Yeah.
But do it twice, fool you.
Yeah,
And I think if you hold your hand up and say, well, that was from a place of ignorance, thank you for, engage with someone who's challenging you and go, like I said earlier, don't let your ego get in the way. But I think if you go away from an experience and go, well, I don't agree with that, and just repeat offend, that's when you're a bit of an asshole.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's when actually your actions do become toxic. So be open to criticism. See it as a learning opportunity. Like I said, I call out ableism, and it's really funny because straight away people get really arsey with me and go, why is everything ableist? Why is it? I'm like, this is not me attacking you. You have to separate the person from the action.
Yeah.
And that's what's key here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like humans are humans.
Of course.
Humans, can I say fuck up?
Yeah, all the time, literally every day.
Exactly. Humans fuck up, and that's the part of learning. Like, I use a really daft analogy considering I can't walk. But when a baby learns to walk, they fall down a bazillion times, but they still keep getting back up.
Yeah, they still keep trying to make it work.
And that's fine. And I think we forget that basic human trait as we get older. We see it as a real personal failure. Anything that we don't do that it goes according to plan. But it's what you do afterwards, which is and have accountability for your actions. And don't allow, someone who's challenging you. I mean, again, it works both ways, because some people, when they challenge you, they can be arsey as well.
Yeah.
So it
purely for their own self-glorification.
And just to be, narcissistic, perhaps, or have that upper hand.
Yeah.
And I think the danger is sometimes when you are dealing with marginalised groups who have been suppressed and oppressed for years and years and years and years, and treated like shit for years and years and years. Of course, when they get a taste of equality and respect and value, it can go to their head sometimes. And I'm guilty of that too, because it's liberating, and it's like, wow. And you're like, fuck the world, and I'm gonna do. And you've got to understand that they're on that journey as well. So be compassionate, be empathetic, and I think communication is key, isn't it? Really, I think the worst we can do is cancel culture is the worst thing that we can do.
Okay.
Don't get me started.
Tell me about. No, I want to know all about what your perspective is here.
I think cancel culture, stops meanoful dialogue.
Yeah.
We don't have to agree with one another, but what we do have to do is be respectful of one another. No one's necessarily even when I say, look, I want to have rants everywhere. Am I right? Am I wrong? I mean, that's from my own personal view. There is a law that says that everywhere should be
there has to be.
but I'm not projecting that onto everyone. I'm just presenting my reality to you that you may have never even understood before.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's a start of a conversation.
It's a start of a conversation, absolutely.
And start of education, ideally. In an ideal world.
In an ideal world.
Thank you so much, Samantha, for doing the interview. You're absolutely amazing.
Was that all right?
Absolutely, you're a rock star. I just so sincerely appreciate it.